sports fans, happy MLK Day, or if you're not watching this on Martin Luther King Day,
happy whatever day you are watching this on.
Happy Leif Erikson Day, happy Arbor Day, happy New Year's, birthday, happy everything, happy
Boxer Day.
Happy we've got basketball to talk about, so it's always a good day. Christian Pedersen, are you full-time hoops again, or are you back to full-time dad because of that San Diego game?
I'm full-time hoops now. A few seconds ago, I was definitely full-time dad.
Okay, he wears a lot of hats here. He also cleans out the Gatorade cooler for the team, drives some of the players here and there. Have you done snack yet?
Not yet. No, have not done the snack bar. Don't plan on it.
Oh, is there a media exemption? If you're in the media, you don't have to do the snack bar. I'll endorse that, Coach. So right now we're out at Christian High School. We've got their first ever MLK tournament going on. We got 10 teams here today, a bunch of games going on. We are in maybe the tail end of what you call tournament time into league. Yeah. So this podcast is going to be, the standard game balls, highlights, all that kind of stuff, but also with the undertone of we're turning the corner now a little bit and looking toward, there's been less fluctuation in the top 10. There's been less, oh my goodness, that win, or oh, did you check that? That team's on a trend. There are some teams that are still making moves, but we're settling in on what we sort of understand to be the high school basketball scene in San Diego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've got, like we talked about, teams are really rounding into form. I think there was the one hiccup in everybody's top 10, La Jolla Country Day, dropping a game versus Bishops, but they've played the entire week without their star guard, Ryan Langboard. So close losses without your star player. It basically, you are who you are at this point in the year. So as Christian just brought out, not a lot of movement. But below that top 10, there's...
I'd say 8 through 15 is the chaos that we saw at the top at the beginning of the year.
I would say that like San Diego basketball right now is like a duck. And the top 8 are kind of the top of the duck. Okay. Beyond that are the feet of the duck, just furiously moving underwater, but you don't really see it because you're so focused on, what's the open division going to look like. But as we saw right now, Steel Canyon, a Division II team, taking the loss to San Diego, a Division IV team. Earlier you saw Hoover getting back on track, a D3 team, kind of rounding into what we expected them to be at the beginning of the year.
That's a 46-point win is that looks good. Everything's good there. So let's start with game balls. I'll toss a couple out. Can I just get to the Point Loma one?
Of course.
Can we get to? Thank you, PLH as Sports Center, for sending that in. If you fans out there snap any videos ever, send them our way and we'll put them on the podcast. We'll talk about it. Point Loma, buzzer beater galore, baby.
Gabe Harrison, a freshman, hitting the 25-foot pull-up in transition to beat the buzzer, to beat Mira Mesa. What a shot. Gabe Harrison had his career high 12 points, 6 assists in that game. Really looked good.
I want to give a game ball out to Santana, 1-point victory over Crawford. Close wins are always fun wins.
Yeah.
A game ball out to Claremont for a win over Calvin Christian by 28 points. Mm-hmm. Claremont hit us up at the beginning of the year, screaming foul play that we had slept on them.
Well,
and there's some big wins there now to their resume.
I really didn't sleep on Claremont. I didn't have them in my top 10, but we had them listed in the Prep Hoops Southern California. We had them listed as a co-favorite in Division 5, and they're proving that by winning those games against Division 5 opponents very handily.
Want to give a game ball out to San Marcos for beating LCC 43-40. Want to give a game ball out to Eastlake, 1-point win over Olympian.
It's craziness in that South Bay. I mean, in the Mesa League, aside from maybe Montgomery and Mater Dei Catholic, and on the bottom San Isidro, that 3 through 6, 3, 4, 5, and 6 teams, they're going to just beat each other up all year.
Sarah over Patrick Henry.
I've got to give big shout out to Ryan Flowers, a senior guard. He hit the game-winning shot and the foul to give them that 2-point win. And for Sarah, that's their second road win of the week. I mean, and that's one thing in high school basketball. It's not easy to win away from home. Yeah. So anytime you can go back-to-back against Christian and against Patrick Henry, beating them on their home floor, that's huge.
Country Day over Francis Parker. That's another one that I got. That was a huge battle, and that was a huge win.
Yeah, Matt Bender was hurt in that game, muscled it all the way out, and they got a 1-point victory right 2 days after they had lost a 1-point game against Bishops. And I want to give a shout out to Colin Douglas, give him a game ball. Colin Douglas, a 6'3" senior wing for Bishops, had a huge fourth quarter, 8 of his 12 points in the fourth quarter to get them that win over La Jolla Country Day. Great environment. It's always fun to see the two, the local La Jolla schools battle each other out, whether it be Country Day, La Jolla, or Bishops. Their fans really get into it. It's a good environment.
Absolutely. Last game ball, I'll give out Mount Carmel, big win over Valley Center. I haven't talked much about Mount Carmel, but part of this podcast is just about getting to all of the county. Game balls for you?
You know what? I think we
covered them.
I think we covered them. I think it was a good, just a back and forth exchange. I love that. Yeah, I mean, Christian Rose and Kyle Cross had big games. Jason Taylor had a huge game in that loss against Bishops. I was there for that one. Thomas Marcus, have to give him a shout out. He had a double-double today. I think it was 15 points and 15 rebounds in the win over Steel Canyon.
Thomas Marcus also had a couple of moments where you saw people at the key lining up and pointing a little bit, and you would hear the bench go, "Slam it!"
Yeah.
If you haven't come out to watch San Diego play, there's athleticism on that team.
Lots of athleticism, and you got to give Emmanuel Henry a lot of credit too. I didn't have his stats here, but he had well over 25 points. Big breakout game for a senior who's getting better every single game.
All right, so let me just go into a little bit of a jump ball question going on from here. Let's, for 1 week, kind of throw out the Open and D1. Let's talk a little bit in the lower divisions now. Anybody surprising you? Anybody really being like, dang, that's a season that I did not expect?
I actually, coming up in full-time hoops, I'm going to have a piece about teams that really have just come out and said, screw what you said about us, we're going to prove you wrong, and have done it. It's a mea culpa piece. I do it every year. Escondido is one that's really surprised me, a Division III team I didn't have on my radar in the top 8. It looks like they're going to be a lock for the top 8, and they're playing really good basketball. They don't have, any Division I talent per se, but they play hard. And one thing that we have to remember in high school basketball, coaching matters. PJ Baldwin, probably one of the more underrated coaches in the section. I'll say they've been a big surprise for me. Another one, Otay Ranch in Division II.
Yeah, buddy, we saw them at the Canyon Crest win. At the
opening salvo of the season, get that win. And then that Steel Canyon team, they scored 100 points on. I mean, they've been, and they've had big wins in the Mesa League. And they almost beat Montgomery at Montgomery, lost that game by 2.
Is that 83-81?
83-81, yes, huge game. So we didn't expect that. I definitely didn't expect them to be a contender in Division II, but it looks like they really are, just that. Division 5, a team that I thought was a dark horse, but has turned into a favorite, Escondido Charter. The White Lions, coached by Coach Vidiosic, Dave Vidiosic, they beat San Pasqual, who I thought was going to be the favorite in Division 5. Not only beat them, they beat them by 27. Handily. Escondido Charter, a small school, way out off of Valley Parkway. Not a ton of talent comes in and out of there, but they're well coached. They get after it. They play hard, and they're deep. So those are a couple teams I think that have really stood out to me. Any for you?
Yes, but I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, and you want to go see if we can grab San Diego or Gage Sanders or anybody from either team?
I'm gonna go get Bass.
Okay, get whoever you want. And hey, look who Aaron found. The best production assistant in television finds the best teams in television to have on. This is the San Diego Cavers. This is the team that we kind of labeled as they're sneaking into the top 10. Guys, you want to go down and introduce yourselves to everyone out in San Diego?
I'm Daniel Thomas.
I'm Coach Bass Fontenot.
I'm Emmanuel Henry.
I'm AJ Bergen.
It's pronounced Bergen?
Yes.
Oh, man. I seem like such a jerk now for 2 years.
And here comes the guy we were trying to get.
Dude, does he need more TV time?
I think he does.
All right. In case you didn't know, this is the future of Arizona football right here. This is Thomas Marcus, wanted for how many counts of assault so far this year between here and the rim? Yeah, look him up on any social media that you can get your hands on. So guys, you just got done getting the W against Steel Canyon. Kind of tell us a little bit about, you're what, 13-5 now this year? What's the vibe been like on this season?
It's been really good. Just getting all these dubs. Yeah.
It's team effort, playing together, learning each other.
so over on this side, you guys were both in the football team. You had a great season there, so you kind of maybe got a taste for what a championship caliber season is like, what playing at a high level is. Did that translate over a little bit into your approach for basketball this year?
Oh yeah, we haven't been a winning program in many years before this. Thomas came, went to CIF in football, so now the basketball has to step up, and that's the goal is CIF. We don't want anything less than that.
After losing CIF, I never wanted to lose another game in my life, so I've tried as hard as I could to not make us lose, and my teammates have done a great job of being there.
Now, Coach, you have a transfer, you have freshmen, you have kids that you've been working with for a couple of years, building them up. For you, this seems like it's the perfect storm of everything's finally coming together all in one swoop, which some coaches will go their whole career waiting for that year. You finally got it happening. What's that been like for you?
I'm very fortunate, very blessed. You know, my only challenge is to get the chemistry going, get everybody working together, getting us used to playing with each other. Because the football team did so well, it took a while. We were already a couple of games into our season before they came to their first practice. And so throughout the course of the season, we've been getting better every practice, every game, you know, and hopefully we're clicking in February when we need to be.
Prep Hoop SoCal, we listed you guys as one of the co-favorites in Division IV. How do you feel that you've been doing to, you know, in terms of those expectations? And how are the kids handling the expectations of kind of being the hunted in Division IV this year?
I think we're taking the right steps. You know, it's a process. We're taking it one game at a time. And athletically and skill-wise, we have everything we need to contend for D4. We just got to get our chemistry together. And the more we play together, the more we hang out together, the more we're around each other, the better it gets. So I expect us to be right there at the end.
If there's a game that's left on the calendar that you guys are looking forward to, what would that game be?
I don't know. I'm a freshman, so.
Anybody got it?
Hoover.
At Hoover?
At Hoover.
Oh, okay, at Hoover, yeah.
Yo, I am so down for that rivalry to become a thing again.
Yeah, it'd be
That's the classical San Diego high school sports rivalries. So we saw Hoover today. They got the talent that might be a good game. That might also very quickly devolve into just a battle in the paint where you guys are all just screaming, go for the hoop, go for blood.
I remember they played each other last week, and that was, you know, probably an instant classic game. I mean, you know, Hoover, San Diego came out to a really big lead. Hoover came all the way back, took a 7-point lead with 2.5 left, and the Cavers found a way to claw their way back in it, get that 2-point win. But the next chapter is at Hoover, where they've got a raucous environment waiting. It'll be interesting to see, you know, how the Cavers react to that road environment, you know, which is a lot different than the confines of the castle. The cave, yep. But yeah, I think
The cave.
the cave.
Fits well.
Yeah, we gotta make that a thing again. Yeah, and as you guys know, there's a little bit of a bias, of course. The kid to my left got the looks from to my right, got the looks from mom, but that's my son AJ.
And on that note, we will end this before we take up any more of their day. Guys, thank you so very, very much for being on with us. And do not be caught sleeping on the Cavers or offering up that many handshakes on television, because it'll take way too awkwardly long. Thank you very much, guys. Best of luck this season. So we're keeping things going here. We'll get the other side of the game that just happened. This is Gage Sanders. He is for Steel Canyon. And just kind of, you know, Steel Canyon, I feel like, as always, gets a little bit overlooked, comes up. We saw it in football this season. Oh, the 7th seed wins the championship. Your basketball team, again, you've been putting up really huge offensive numbers all season long, so you take a little bit of a loss here or there, but ultimately just get to those playoffs and you're another team that people don't want to get caught sleeping on. So this season, kind of just walk us through what it's been like for you personally, sort of taking over that role now as the dominant player on that team.
Definitely. I mean, we have a lot of young guys this year, so a lot of guys that are role players, kind of, coming in, just working hard, you know. And it's kind of my responsibility and a couple other players on the team to be those leaders that they will look after. So we try and work hard every day in practice and try to, you know, show them the way a little bit. And we came out really strong at the beginning of the season this year, so we're hoping that, you know, we're taking our bumps and bruises now, but we're hoping to, you know, like pick that up and start winning again. So,
Gage, from a personal standpoint for you, you've obviously had a huge growth physically over the course of your career, and it's corresponded with, you know, interest from schools. What are you looking for in a college program? Who's recruiting you? And what are you, I mean, I know that right now that's a lot of Division IIIs. What are you hoping to prove to people as the season progresses from a personal standpoint?
I feel like I want to prove to people that I'm kind of, I'm trying to prove to people that I could be strong on the floor and I could, do more than just shoot the 3 ball. So, I try to get to the basket as well and find my teammates on the floor. So I just want to show people that I could do that as well.
Who's recruiting you?
Right now, George Fox University, a couple other D3 schools looking at me. So hopefully I could go to one of those schools and play ball because, that's my main goal. I just want to play at the next level.
Hey, that's more interest than I got from any college basketball teams. So, in the vein of talking about your style of play, you mentioned shooting 3, shooting from the perimeter. For people out there that haven't come out to watch a game, just kind of describe your sweet spot / how you envision Steele Canyon getting those wins. With a style of what their approach should be.
Definitely. I feel like my style kind of is to get the ball up the floor quick as possible, so we can find a few early shots, early in the shot clock where it's an open shot before, So I also like to move the ball around, try to find my sweet spot. My sweet spot is kind of like the wing. I like staying at the wing, trying to penetrate from there, kick, or find a shot for myself. So, yeah.
And lastly, what's it been like? Obviously, this is the last year where you might be able to play with your younger brother, Kobe. What's it like this last year playing with him and seeing him develop into the player that he's becoming?
Yeah, it's definitely a fun experience. I love playing with my brother, so we kind of have the same kind of style of play. So we feed off each other a lot, and I like to try to find him on the floor. He likes to try to find me on the floor. So we play really well together. So.
Play well together indeed. They are the Steele Canyon Cougars. They are going to be the team that will probably be a 7 or an 8 seed, and you'll be like, where did they come from? But you will have watched this podcast and been like, yeah, I knew about them from day one.
No,
and
over here.
No. When you make enough bad guesses, you eventually get one right. Just thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being just a person who keeps going and keeps grinding down that East County part and didn't jump ship to go look for another school or something like that, man. So thank you for staying strong out there, representing Steele Canyon, representing San Diego, hopefully at the next level. And we will do the little transition. We'll come back with game picks.